What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica, and we are down here, girl. Can y'all see me? Can y'all see my eyes? I didn't even clean these glasses. They're gonna have to work because I can see through them, and I don't want to even look at them because if it's one little speck out of place, I'm gonna be trying to fix it. So, what is up, everybody? What is up? Y'all like the little tarot pool? Shout out to Sky Santana because she gave me some really good advice, and it was like a reminder about my Patreon tiers, and what that's going to look like. And I really agreed with her. I was like, girl, you are absolutely right. So, um, the tiers of the Patreon are going to be, the amount is going to be at least 11. Walk this morning. I had a walk this morning. It was pretty good. This weekend was a little stressful. The beginning of the weekend was a little stressful. It got better towards Saturday evening. Um, Maxine had a couple of seizures, a few seizures, just out of the blue. Maxine has been a healthy girl. She has been running upstairs. She's been a healthy girl. She's 13 years old. She's about to be 14. And it's so funny because the other day I just said to my sons, I said, pretty soon, I said, because she's already lost her hearing. So I was like, she's declining and she's getting older, but she's still able to run upstairs and things like that. But she had a seizure Friday night, and it was really hard. My son, I was in the bathroom, and my son I could hear him calling me, but I think he was trying to stay calm. And he was like watching her have a seizure, and he was trying to call me, but I could barely hear him. I was like, are you calling me? And he was like, yeah, come here. And so he was trying to stay calm, and which he did, but he's a Cancer and he loves animals. So it was very, very difficult for him. The Aquarius was difficult for him as well. um, and she had one, and then she was like disoriented, and we comforted her. And then later on in the evening, my youngest son, he stayed up with her, and he said she had like three more, and they were like a few hours apart. But he stayed up all night with her, so he was really, really tired. In the morning, we took her to the hospital, and they kept her for the entire day. They kept her for the whole day. She had a seizure while she was in the hospital. And so I was glad that she had one there so they could, see everything. They did a blood test on her. Her blood test, everything came back good. So they were like, it's nothing happening with her organs, her blood, everything is good. She's healthy. Her cholesterol, all the things, she's healthy. Her white blood count, her red blood count, everything is good. So he said it's probably in the brain. And he was like, and the only way that you are going to be able to find out, what's happening is an MRI. And he was like, 95% of the people are not able to afford MRIs, even with pet insurance. It doesn't cover everything, and MRIs can run up to $10,000. He was like, so what we can do is to just maintain her quality of life for as long as we can, because I understand if you're not able to do an MRI. He was like, most people can't. And he said, and I don't want you to feel bad for not being able to pay that much money to find out like what is happening with your dog. He was like, most people can't. And he like was really like, the veterinarian was like, so like, of course, I mean, you're dealing with animals. I mean, they're just people carrying people. I don't know if I've never heard of, well, we might have. I can go look, probably find a weirdo veterinarian in the news somewhere in Florida, probably. But they are tend to be compassionate people and things like that. And when they were really kind, really, really kind. And one of the nurses, she um she said that Maxine sat on her lap for the majority of the days. They gave her some drugs basically, so that she's going to be on medication, an anti-seizure medication, which kind of like leaves her kind of loopy. So she's out there popping dolls and phenobarbital, girl, popping dolls, honey. So she's out there popping. So she's a little wibble wobble, but she is. And what they explained is when they have seizures, their brain is like firing. So it's just a lot of things going on. So it's like keep down the stimuli. Um, we had to, like, she came in here for a second, she slept for about an hour, and then she got up and she's just roaming, like she's literally just roaming. And the doctor explained is because her brain is like it's a she had a seizure, it's a lot going on. And what I was actually really relieved, like in terms of her health, in terms of like just having that knowledge that in terms of her like organs and her blood and things like that, she's healthy. It's just something's going on with my girl's brain, Maxine Sugarbaker. And so was trying to stay strong for my sons because that has been their baby since they were little, like little, little, little. And it's actually one of the reasons why I got them an animal, is so that as the animal ages and then also transitions, typically that's like their first, you know, personal connection with death. And it's kind of like a lesson in that as well. And so I've kind of been preparing them because as she lost her hearing, I've been like, she's getting, our girl's getting older, just kind of preparing them. And, they both were very upset. My son, the cancer child, baby, he was just sitting there like he couldn't pull himself together. And I just had to comfort him. And then I told you the other day he was looking up veterinary medicine. And so I asked him, I was like, being in the veterinarian hospital, did that make you want to work with animals more? And he was like shaking his head, even like crying. He was still shaking his head like he wants to work with animals. So he was really calm. He was the one that actually witnessed her first seizure. So he was really calm. Like when he called me, his voice was calm because I was like, "Is he calling? Like, is he calling in the bathroom?" Like, and you got the fan going. The the bathroom is loud. So I was like, "Is he calling me?" And then when I walked in there, and then she had one yesterday. Even through the medications, what they said about the medications was, if she if she has medication and the seizures still get through, then it's we just have to maintain her quality of life. So if she continues to have seizures, there possibility, well, the likelihood of us having to put Maxine down. So it's a part of life, and so I've been preparing them for that. And so it's just, I remember what it feels like to lose an animal. I've lost animals, I've been around animals my entire life. So I've lost animals before. Animals have died. Um, I've had to give an animal to a shelter. My chow, Chief, I had to give him to a shelter because he was just getting bad. Like, he was bad. He was getting bad. He was eating cats. He would kill them and eat the cats. I was like, oh my God, this is a devil dog. Girl, you got to go to the pound. And then I was like in and out of, like, my dog was at my grandma's house, and so I was like back and forth. My dog stayed at my grandmother's house, and then I live in a different apartment, so it was just like I had to give Chief away. Chief was wild. Chief was like wild, like a wild dog, a chow. So yeah, so it's so funny because I was gonna name Chief Eros, like the god of love. I was gonna name him that, and I ended up naming him Chief. and then yeah, he just got really bad. He just was like, he was wild, so cute, so furry and cute, but he got wild. Jupiter was another dog of mine, that of our, like a family dog, that died. Samantha was a cat that we had that died. She got pregnant. She died in childbirth. So I've been around animals like my whole life, and animals dying and things like that. So for them, it brings up like remembering the first time. So I know how it's going to feel for them to lose an animal that they've had since they were little boys, little, like before, she came out. I got her in Georgia. So she's been with them since, um, preschool for my youngest. Yeah, preschool. Yeah, I saved her one time from, I don't know if I ever told this story. We were at my mother's house in Pasadena, and I was walking her, and a couple of doors down, there's a retired police dog, German Shepherd, and we were just walking, and I heard somebody say, "Come back, like come back," telling the dog to get back there. And I was, had Maxine on the leash, and then I saw the dog come from around the car, like they were taking in their groceries. I remember, I will never forget this. They were taking in their like I had to, how you in the movies where you have to scan like the whole scene to see like what your next move is going to be if something happens, and so you think of all the possibilities of things happen. So I'm thinking, when I saw the dog come out of the house and around the car, and then he was like growling, and then I grabbed Maxine, like I like swung her in the air, like by the leash. That's why a harness is better, because I would have picked up her whole body. But I when I swung her up so I can grab her, and in that moment the dog bit her right here on the side, and then had her, and I punched the dog right in the nose, and then I grabbed her, and then of course the dog let go. They ended up putting that dog down, but they paid for all of her vet bill. They paid everything. They were like, whatever it costs, it doesn't matter, we will pay it. Luckily there was like a hospital right up the street, so we took her to the hospital. He missed her one of her organs, so she of course, obviously she's fine. And so that's why sometimes, my son says that, because she stares at me sometimes, and she just stares at me. And so my son says, because I saved her life. So she's been coming in here. Normally she doesn't come in my room, because I just don't allow her in my room. Not too often, every now and again. But then, the other day, she got in the bed with me, and she was laying on my chest. And this was before her seizures. And though she has a birthday coming up on the 19th. And yeah, so Maxine, so she's she's getting old. So that's what I think about. I think about my sons, like having to deal with something that close to them that dies. And so it's just a part of life. I tell them it's a part of life, and all dogs go to heaven. So it's all good. So they were really, 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 really tired. The youngest one stayed up with her all night and was like monitoring her. He would kind of like, he said was telling me he would doze off, but she kept like, just walking around. So he kind of like blocked off the living room so she couldn't, yeah. So poor thing. So she had, I think is one, four, five, six. She had six seizures, and then she had a one yesterday. He said it didn't last a long time. It was just like a like spasm, and then she like got like came out of it really fast. So she's only been on the medication since Saturday. So we'll see how it goes. They were like a week. Give it a week to kind of get herself together. So give a shout out to Maxine. So yeah, of course I'm not gonna have an MRI done. I don't have $10,000, and I don't think it would be, knowing how old she is, like she's 13. So knowing how old she is, you know, just considering. So no, we're just going to give her medication so that she can be okay. But I already know, like I already know what I already know what's gonna happen, child. So just preparing for that. So give a shout out to Maxine, y'all. It's our girl. Our girl's getting older. She's getting older. So we gotta take care of her and make sure she has, her good good life, the rest of her life. She's a golden girl. All right, y'all. I'm gonna end this video here and we're gonna come back and start another video. I just wanted to give y'all an update of what was happening over here, down here. All right. Peace.